What's up, everybody? It's the last video of the top 40, which is bittersweet because it's the last video of the top 40. That's the bitter part. The sweet part is it means that we're just that much closer to actual football games and practice, ACC kickoff, real preseason indicators of just how close we get to this great sport that we love, college football. Thanks for being here. I'm Aslan Hutchavandi, joined by Ira Schofel, managing editor of Warchant.com, and our lead writer, Corey Clark, sometimes referred to as senior writer. Thanks for being here. Hit the thumbs up. Certainly appreciate it. It's been a long, arduous trek, gentlemen. The top 40. This one feels a little bit more fun than maybe last year, although I guess we went into last year pretty rosy feeling about things. Now that surprise, I'm sure everybody, to find out that the number one person on the composite top 40 of everybody at Warchant.com, us three on the screen, as well as Tom Lang, Jeff Cameron, Matt Lasser, and Gene Williams, is Tommy Castellanos, quarterback number one, literally, figuratively. He's going to wear that number, and he is the starting quarterback for Florida State. 6 out of 8 of us on the panel. I should have had the number in front of me here. Maybe it was 2 out of the 7. Otherwise, had him at number 1. We have one of the guys that didn't have him at number 1. Ira Schofel, you have him at number 2. Discuss to us your thought process in that.
I think first of all is I refuse to be beholden to this policy we apparently have that if you're the quarterback at Florida State, you have to be number 1. I don't know why we've kind of gone to that place. And I get that the quarterback position is the most important position in football. And I get that it's probably more important in football than any position in any sport. I get all that. But I'm just tired of it. We had DJU with number 1 last year, which looking back is preposterous. Now, so, that was part of it. But
is it though preposterous, Ira? Like, DJU did have a really big impact on the Florida State team last year.
I hear you. Corey, I hear you say that all the time. That's not the spirit of what we're doing here.
I think it is.
We're not. Fred Rouse would have been number 1 for impact on a team back when he got kicked off in the first few weeks. Now, I hear you. No, but 2 things. Number 1 is I do think that there's a smidge of belief. I do believe to some degree that the ship doesn't have to sink if Tommy Castellanos is banged up for a game or 2, because I do feel like you have some similar skill sets in Brock Glenn and Kevin Sperry to where you could still run your offense. When Jordan Travis got hurt, I mean, it was a disaster. They had no answers on offense. But I feel like with those 2 guys, with their athletic ability in this offensive system, the way it's going to be built around the quarterback's legs, I feel like you can still operate. So that was one thing. The other mitigating factor is the guy I put number 1 was Deuce Robinson. And I just feel like not only is he an explosive, dynamic player, but I also think he's the undisputed work ethic leader of this team. Like, he's a pro's pro. They've been talking about it. We've heard them talk about it since the day he arrived, how hard he works, what a good teammate he is, what a good leader he is. And to me, that kind of elevated him. So I gave him the nod. But yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to be in the minority because everybody else, we just go with the quarterback because the quarterback is the most important position.
Corey, you would semi-joke, I feel like, in the middle of September, October of last year about what if Florida State would have got that kid that ended up at Boston College, Tommy Castellanos. And then it became a reality. So I guess you kind of got your wish here.
Yeah.
He is number 1 on your list, number 1 on my list. Is it because he is the quarterback, or is it because he is the quarterback for this offense with this kind of background of the coordinator and such?
Well, I've been doing these things for, I think, 8 years now. This is my 8th Warchant Top 40, and I think I'm 8 for 8 with choosing the quarterback. I always put the quarterback number 1 to Ira's point. And I think if I polled Ira right now, it's not like Ira had him at 11. Ira had him at 26. He had him at 2. He's very, very important to the team. But I think Ira would agree that if Castellanos had been the quarterback for Florida State for 12 games last year, well, they don't go 2-10. I just don't see that. I think he's got some unique stuff that when things aren't going well, he can get you out of a bad play, out of a bad drive, out of a bad game with just some athletic stuff that he can do. And I just think I think when I think about Tommy Castellanos, if you get just a average version of Tommy Castellanos, you're still going to be much improved. You're going to be a 6-win team, 7-win team, hopefully at least a 7-win team. If he's just decent, if he's just average for him. If he ends up being good and taking a step, like a significant step in being, let's say, second team all ACC, well, then they might win 10 games. Like I think that's the import and the impact he can have. If he takes a step as a passer, which he's, according to him anyway, he's never had skilled people like this. If he takes a step as a passer and a distributor, it isn't just all running around and making plays with his legs, but can do it with his mind and his arm too, then I think he could be one of the most important players in the country. If he takes a big step, if he's just the guy he's been, he's going to be frustrating at times, and he's going to wow you at times. That's just the life of Tommy Castellanos. But there is a chance in this offense that if he takes a big step and can be an efficient passer and a dynamic runner, he could be one of the better players in the conference, and you can win a lot of games.
Ira, how improbable, I don't know if that's the right term to use here, but just how improbable of a story would this be if it all ends up working out? Because if you want to look at it from like a more skeptical standpoint, which I'll kind of present right here, is that Tommy Castellanos is a kid who, I don't want to say desperately, but really wanted to come play quarterback at Florida State coming out of high school. Mike Norvell and the staff were like, no, thanks. You can come play running back. He says, no, I want to play quarterback. So he goes to UCF where Gus Malzahn gives him a chance, but he's going to have to sit behind John Rice Plumlee for a few years. And then he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave. So he goes to Boston College. And then in the middle of his season with a head coach he doesn't see eye to eye with, he ends up, walking away from that program. And then sure enough, the coach that he did play for ends up linking up with the coach that he wanted to play for, but didn't want him to play the position he wants to play. And now they're all together in the same city trying to make this thing work. It seems almost impossible, but tell me why it's not.
It's like a sitcom plot. Yeah. This is a pilot episode. We're bringing back the wacky quarterback and the stern father. No, it's I think it's a listen, I think they're trying to thread a needle here. I think that if you look at all the scenarios Mike Norvell was left with at the end of last season, where you're firing your coordinators on both sides of the ball, you're firing several other assistant coaches, you're looking at your roster and you're thinking to myself, I don't even know who I want back from this team. Like, it's not even a matter of talent. Like, I don't know who I want back was part of this to come back next year. And so we've got to start over. What's the I won't say low hanging fruit, but what's the most realistic thing that can get us back to being decent? What could raise the floor? And that's why I think they jumped on Tommy Castellanos right away. And, one thing and I don't know if we'll never know the answer to this, but I wonder if Tommy hadn't left BC with, several games to go and gone in the portal early, I wonder if Florida State would have gone in this direction. Like, I wonder if Mike Norvell and Gus Malzahn, as they started talking late November about this possibility, I think Tommy being available was a big part of their calculus. Is like, hey, there's a quarterback we could go get tomorrow and build this thing around him. And here's our easiest path to where we want to get to, as opposed to, doing what they did the year before and trying to scout the landscape and find maybe the best quarterback. So I think, it may have worked out best for them. It may all work out where everything aligned perfectly. But it's certainly no guarantee. I mean, there's landmines all over the place. There's a question of how Tommy handles adversity. We don't know that. If Gus gets mad at him during a game and benches him for a series and gives Kevin Sperry a series, how does he handle that? The one scrimmage that Corey and I and a few of our staff were at, he got mad because they weren't playing him more in a scrimmage. Like he wanted to go compete. Well, what if they sit him because he makes a couple of mistakes and they just want to give him a series to watch? How does he handle that? Like, there's a lot of unknowns here. How did Gus and Mike handle things in tough situations? How's the defense play? So yeah, I'm not going to say it's improbable either, but maybe it is improbable. I mean, they need a lot of things to go right for this to work, but there is a path to winning and being successful. Last year, with the ingredients that they put together, it turns out there was no path. There was nothing he could have done unless, as Corey said, if you put Tommy on last year's team, I think they easily win 5-6 games at least, which is gross, but it's a lot less gross than what we saw. So, but to get to 8, 9, 10 wins, yeah, they are going to have to navigate some tricky terrain.
Corey, does this kind of come down to everybody recognizing how much they need one another? Like, Mike needs Gus for this thing to work. Gus needed a guy like Mike to be in a position like this to give him a good landing spot to help propel his career. Tommy's not here if Gus, there seems to be like they're symbiotic in a way here. And I wonder if that's really what it comes down to. Not saying put egos aside, but just realizing that, listen, we need each other, man. No one here is better than the other. We need everybody to kind of be on the same page, row in the same direction.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a need thing. Like, Norvell went 13-0 without Malzahn, and Malzahn did plenty without Mike Norvell. I think what's cool about it is all three of them have a lot to prove. And if we want to talk about a triumvirate, like these three guys, Malzahn just went 4-8, was essentially on the way out as a head coach, and people was like, okay, maybe the game's passed him by, even though he'd won 18 games the previous 2 years. Castellanos got benched at Boston College for a quarterback that I don't think is all that good, by the way. And then Norvell just went 2-10. So they all need something from each other, and they all have something to prove. But more important, they all have something to prove. And I think they do have chips on their shoulders. And to me, the most important one is Castellanos. Again, I just think, look, we know he's Alabama's worst nightmare. We can go ahead and get that out of the way right now. Like, everybody knows that. Alabama wants no part of Tommy Castellanos, right? Everyone?
No.
But, I think you've got a unique skill set with this kid, but also a personality that I don't know what you think. We've talked about it a good bit in the past on the podcast and everything, but it's like, I don't mind a quarterback that carries himself like this. I want a quarterback that thinks he's the best player in the country. He isn't, but I want him to think that. I think that can carry that really has an impact on younger players or on new players. If the quarterback goes out there and thinks he's the best player in the country, that can't help but instill some confidence with those other guys. And he's also a get-out-of-jail-free card when you call a horrible play. If you call a horrible play and it's 3rd and 8 and everybody's covered, there's a 26-yard run, we get to do it again. Like, he's going to make some of those plays that you don't coach and you don't plan for, that I think Mike Norvell and Gus Malzahn, their first year working together since the Obama administration, they maybe before that, it might have been, I don't know, was it 08? It could have been the last Bush year.
It could have been W, yeah.
Yeah, so they haven't worked together in a while. They're not going to be seamless, but this kid can get you out of bad plays and make plays even when you don't deserve a good play to be made with the play call or the alignment or seeing the blitz or not. So he's just going to do some things that are pretty unnatural, and I'm really excited about it. I really am. I don't think he's great, but I think he's certainly good enough for this team this year, and I think there's a chance he could take a step to where he literally is one of the better players in the conference.
Yeah, and listen, real quick, I wasn't trying to downplay how good he is. The last thing I was saying, I was just saying that I do think he's a real talent, and I think they're going to tap into it. I'm excited. You mentioned he got benched at BC for not a great quarterback, and I've had a lot of people bring that up to me. That's not a normal benching. It's not like it's a system where he got recruited to an offense and couldn't cut it. A new head coach came in with a new offensive system not suited to him, with no willingness at all to build it around him or to adjust it to his skill. And so he didn't fit in it, but that wasn't his fault. So
the point I was making there, Ira, wasn't that he's a bad quarterback. It's that he has a chip on his shoulder because of that. He has to prove something. I
agree with you. It hit me because a lot of people bring that up. But you talk about his leadership. Yeah, man, I think he's doing everything he's supposed to do for the most part since he got here. All the things we've heard players talk about, him helping guys move in when they signed his transfers, the way he's reached out to the younger players. I think he's doing everything you'd want a quarterback to do. And I think he's shown signs of being that guy because he's such a great playmaker where guys will want to rally around him. The only thing that's bothered me at all wasn't even the comments about Alabama. It was the stupid video afterwards where I didn't feel like he came across like the alpha he wants to be.
On the real, though, like, bro, you watch any interview, like, I don't never talk like that, bro. But, like, them boys coming off of 2-10, I just install some confidence. You feel me?
I feel like if you're the guy that you want to be as the leader of Florida State football and FSU's quarterback and the guy who can talk big to Alabama, you don't say to the Alabama guys, oh, man, I was just kidding around. I was just trying to boost my confidence. I didn't love that. But everything else he's done, I think, is great. And at the end of the day, guys are going to follow him because he's their best player, just like they followed Jordan Travis before Jordan Travis kind of carried himself that way because he was their best player. So I think it can really work out. That part just bothered me a little bit because I do think he needs to be the alpha because they didn't have one last year.
But Ira, you've got Deuce Robinson as number 1 on your list. He would be arguably the best player. I mean, you think maybe Deuce is a guy that can help lead some guys if, for whatever reason, Tommy falls short of the glory?
No question. But I just think because Tommy's getting the ball in his hands so much that, and in the way the offense is going to be designed, they'll need to follow him because the ball's going to be in his hands all the time. But yeah, I do think Deuce is a tremendous leader, and also in terms of just setting the example, what's acceptable and what's not for guys like Javen Boggs and really other positions. He's the guy they're all following.
Corey, I know you weren't at Warchant yet. I wasn't at Warchant. We both joined in 2018. We'd been members a long time, but we joined as employees.
Right.
If you would have been on staff to do your preseason top 40 going into 2017, would Derwin have been number one? Or would you put DeAndre Francois in front of him?
Oh, no. Francois, 100%. No question. And I would have been right that year, too, because he broke his leg, and then the season broke apart.
That was the impact.
Yeah, that was an impact.
All right, everybody. This has been fun. Maybe we'll look back on this next year, and we'll kind of
By the way, did y'all hear the phone ring here like 10 minutes ago? Did y'all hear a phone ring? Oh, I didn't know if it came across. I'm at my mom's house, everyone, and she's one of, I guess, 8 people left on Earth that still has a landline. So that was great timing that rang right in the middle of this.
Well, make sure you go out and pick up the newspaper in the morning, too.
I do. I have to do that. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful place to be.
Those two are the best. They're Corey Clark and Ira Schofel. I'm Azon Hajavandi. On behalf of everybody at Warchant.com, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for tuning into all the top 40 videos. Hayes in the barn, everybody. Let's go play some football soon enough. Hit the thumbs up on the way out.